But who better than me?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to more Base Talks. As always, please like and subscribe, share with a friend, a colleague, a relative, an associate, an enemy, any and all in between. It's appreciated. Now, this one, I was actually looking forward to this interview. I've been trying to get this one sorted for about a year, give or take, maybe a little bit longer than that, but time frame finally matched up. I was able to speak with Mr. Bulletproof Brandon Glanton, cruiserweight dark horse as I've christened him. Maybe some other people may believe the same thing. He'll be taking on Chris Billam Smith at the end of April at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as a part of the Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn fight card. We spoke for a very long period of time, longer than I was actually expecting. So I was majorly engaged in the conversation, and he was very forthcoming and very happy to just share his thoughts and feelings. So look, it is a long interview. So without further ado, let's get into that, and I'll catch you on the other side. This is Base the Kid, the hardcore casual, and I am delighted to be joined by Mr. Bulletproof himself, Brandon Glanton, aka the dark horse of the cruiserweight division. Brandon, how you doing, man?
I'm well. I'm well. How are you?
I'm good, man. All the better for speaking to you. It's been a while since I've been trying to get a hold of you, so I'm actually glad and happy we're able to do this right now. Now, I won't make you go over the, or what got you into boxing and all that kind of stuff, because I feel like you've done the rounds, and anyone who's kind of wants to know that part of the journey, there's information out there, they can find that. I guess my first question for you is, what do you love about the sport currently? Like, what is it about boxing that drives you and makes you basically, want to commit the future to this?
Hey, you know what? I took to boxing like a fish to water, so it just resonates with who I am. It's legal assault. I get to hit somebody without going to jail. What kind of? I'm not gonna say at the biggest level I would do it for free, but I would come to the gym every day, work out, and strive to be the best I can. Cause, bro, it's legal assault. I don't get to. Where else in the world do you get to take out your stresses on another person? Every time you shake hands with another man, right? Even if there's not an argument, even if you both are smiles, there's always a war. It's a mental war. When you shake that man's hand, one of you know you're the bigger dog. In that boxing gym, I get to prove it.
Okay. That's probably one of the most ruthless yet honest answers I've ever heard when I've asked someone a question similar to that. And I respect it. Um, okay, so looking at ultimately, as I said at the start of this, you are kind of like the dark horse of the cruiserweight division, because you're not really a name that gets spoken about a lot. I've seen you, particularly with the UK cruiserweights, be very vocal in sort of wanting to take those challenges and take those tests. I guess the first thing I'll ask is, like, why do you feel like you haven't really been given, I guess, those opportunities beforehand to sort of show out? Because I mean, look, you're vibrant. You speak well, like you're action packed in the ring. So, what do you think you not getting those chances is attributed to?
Well, that's a multifaceted question, but I would have to say, for one, it's expensive, right? When you've already got champions, let's just say, let's go backwards. Chris Billam, he was champion. A lot of these fighters want to take the easiest fight for the most amount of money. I'm not that way. I'll fight whoever the hell they put in front of me. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna batter you anyway. But everybody doesn't want the fight that brings the best legacy. These are businessmen now. They're not fighters anymore. That's number one. Number two, say I don't want to use any. I'm promoter A, and I've got champion number one. Why would I risk my champion? All the money, all the opponents, all the hotels, all the travel, all the camp expenses, all that money I've invested to this guy for you to come over here and ruin him. On top of that, as far as the UK market, I'm American. You know what I mean? And I gotta earn my keep. I'm okay with that. You know, that's where boxing originated. UK's got the best boxing in the world, especially in my division. So yeah, I would love to come over there and prove myself. Probably get booed, you know, when I walk out. It's okay. I love it. But to answer your question, I think a lot of it is situational. Um, money is the driving factor behind all this stuff. You know, unfortunately, it's just the world we live in. If you're gonna ruin my fighter, I wouldn't fight. I wouldn't fight you. And if I'm that fighter, I know Brandon Glanton could permanently damage my health. Why would I fight him unless I had to? You know,
Makes sense.
my friend now, even Lawrence Okoli talked to me that we weren't forced to fight. We're never gonna fight. That David Light fight that I felt came up short was our only opportunity, a chance of us fighting. He said it so. He would never fight me. What for what? So, and that's a guy I respect. I love Lawrence. You know what I mean? It's like a brother to me. I love him now. But any other side, a lot of these fighters, they don't want to get hurt. It's not worth it. They purposely price themselves out. You know, but I don't have to worry about that. You know, I don't have a family at home to worry about. I don't have kids, a wife, this and that. I get to fight free. God forbid nothing happens, but if it does, I don't have a crying wife or kids waiting. I get to fight you with everything. But a guy like Billam, his wife is gonna weep that night.
Okay, we're going to get into that part of the conversation in a moment. So you keep that in mind. What I want to ask though, do you think the fact that, like you said a moment ago, that you're American, that you kind of got to earn your keep. Do you think the fact that the cruiserweight division isn't really looked at as that glamorous in America is one of the reasons why you weren't picked up by one of the bigger promoters or was able to get those opportunities earlier on in your career?
Definitely. Over here, you know, I'm not gonna say people don't care, but it's just like most 200-pound men, they're like, yeah, I'm 220, 223. I just go to heavyweight. A lot of them don't want to cut that weight to go down to 200, you know, or I guess it's kilos, so 90.7 kilos. You know, they don't see a need to do it. Me, I walk pretty big and I have the greatest team in the world, so it's nothing to make the weight. Um, but traditionally this weight class has thrived in the UK. Plus, the events in the UK are crazy, man. Man, that's the best stage. Jesus, it's fights in the ring, it's fights in the crowd. I love it. Let's do it. So in America, they can't appreciate the 200-pound man as well. So
Okay, I hear that. So, um, you've pretty much you've had to take opportunities that a lot of guys wouldn't have. You said that yourself. You'll fight whoever. Before I kind of get to where we've got to now, which is obviously going to be the biggest opportunity of your career, uh, let's go back to, as you said, the David Light fight. You also had the Asbarov, so they was back to back. Both of them were, um, one was a split decision, one was a majority decision loss. But I know you don't really feel like you lost those fights. So I just want to ask you, like in terms of, I guess, either how they were scored or how the fights played out, what kind of what do you think was the issue outside of not knocking them out that was the reason why you weren't successful in those bouts?
well, first and foremost, you know, excuses are like assholes. Everybody got one, and most of them stink, right? So I'll say whatever I didn't do, or whatever I didn't do enough of to sway the judges in both fights, is right. Even a judge that's quote unquote cheating, if you can do enough, they just got to give it to you. So whatever I didn't do, that's on me. I'm the fighter. That's not on my coach. That's not on my trainer. That's not on my manager, my promoter. That's on me. If you, even if everybody wants you to lose, if you batter a man bad enough, you're gonna win. In my eyes, I won that David Light fight hands down. I even, I battered him. I dropped him in the last round. I still don't accept defeat to this day, but like I've told people in the past, that was a humbling from God. During that time of my life, during that camp, the way I treated David Light with the media and the fights and everything, wasn't a good person. Let's just say that. I personally feel like that was a humbling from God. That was heavenly, and I needed it because I was sinister. I was a menace. Uh, I wanted to damage David permanently, and I did. But it it wasn't about the fight anymore. It was about taking him away. It was about erasing him, and like it wasn't the right way. I was thinking. I wanted every time I hit him, I wanted to make his brain pop. Like I really was a bad guy. I had to do some soul searching on that one because I didn't lose that fight. I didn't lose that fight.
So where did that, I guess, that emotion, that intent, that that need to be able to commit legal battery to, so where does that come from?
You know, so many things. I can't say one thing. I think it's just who I am.
Okay.
Um, and don't get me wrong, I'm still that way, but you don't need to vocalize everything. When you walk in a room, you don't need to tell everybody you're a wolf. They can see it. They know. So, but I wanted terrible things for him. I think David, he's the first fight I've ever had, the only fight I've ever had, where when I was saying, because when I was saying my ring prayer, I kept, even though I'm saying it to myself, in the corner of my knee, I was stumbling over my own words, and I'm talking to myself. You know what I mean? Because I knew I didn't mean it. I don't pray for victory. I pray for safety. I pray for the safety for myself and my opponent. But as I was going through it, I couldn't even get the word. I wanted to hurt that man. I really wanted to hurt him. I wanted to hurt him at the conference. I wanted to hurt him at the face to face. I wanted to hurt him at the weigh in. I snatched my belt back. I was a real jerk. And I can't apologize enough to him for how I treated him. Isaac Peach, his trainer's a great man. David's a great man. I pray he continues to progress in his health. But that Brandon was dangerous. And still got it, but you don't have to treat people that way. So that was a humbling from God. And I just leave that where it's at. But can't tell you exactly what you know. I don't like these fighters, man. I don't like any people in my weight class. I just don't like them. We're not friends.
Oh,
But I learned to become friends with some certain fighters like David, Lawrence Okolie, because some of these guys are class X, man. Really, really good people who you want in your corner. So, you know, I it takes a lot for me to call somebody friend, but definitely call David a friend now. Okolie a friend. Certain guys are friends. Um, it's bigger than the fighting. It's bigger than the punches. It's bigger than the purses. You have friends for the rest of your life.
oh,
So,
yeah.
as far as Soulsline Asbarav, I personally, and I've said it in interviews before, I had that fight 5-5. A lot of people say they had it 6-4. A bunch of the Russians had me winning that fight 7-3. But again, first and foremost, I say whatever I didn't do as a fighter, I just cast my own stone, take my own to give. It's my responsibility to be able to sway the judges. So although I don't agree with the decision, I know I saw it 5-5. I watched it. I saw it 5-5. Watching it with other people, showing me why they made it 6-4. I said, okay, I can see how you say that, but me, with no outside interference, I had it 5-5.
Now you see
Um,
with that, sorry to cut you, and thank you for that. But I've seen about 6 or 7 of your fights overall. Obviously, I know that you've had a much bigger career than that, but that's what I've managed to see. But in a lot of them, it seems like almost up until the point where you're stopping people, these fights are a lot closer than maybe I guess you would like. Obviously, having as a lot of the time being the away fighter, what do you sort of attribute that to? Like you said, that one's like a 5-5, 6-4. But even like your last fight against Egorov, that was very, evenly swung up until you stopped him
did
in
you watch
the
it?
11th.
You watched it.
Yeah, I see that. I saw that fight.
And then I poured it on in round 5 and 6. Like, all right, fuck it. I'm just gonna knock this guy out. And it started drowning him. You know what? A lot of times, inexperienced fighters fight down to the level of their opposition. They be really good fighters, but for whatever reason, they fight down to that level. I remember we went to round 5, uh, no, round 6. My trainer said, "Hey man, how you feeling?" And I was like, "I'm fine. I'm gonna knock this guy out." And he was like, "Oh shit, go knock him out." And I was like, "All right, I was waiting on you to tell me to press the gas." I pressed the gas, and he didn't take another step forward, and it knocked him out. You know, I can't give you an answer that'll make sense. All I can tell you is I'll do better in my next fight. Um, Sometimes people are afraid of their own greatness. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna say that's what it is 100% of the time, but I ask myself that question as well. Why do you do this? And then you do it in sparring. You make it look equal, and then it's like you make a decision. All right, well, I'm tired of this. I'm gonna go kick your ass now. It's not intentional. I can only attribute it to experience. It's just like you take a lackluster fighter and you put him in there with the greatest of all time, and he's like, "Wow, you fought up because that was your opposition." I tend to do better with better fighters. Um, can't answer that, but I won't make that mistake in the future. That's for sure.
Okay.
I
Okay.
appreciate you for highlighting that because no lies were told.
No, do you know what? Like, I have to. I'm a person, right? I have to be real. Obviously, I have to push back if I feel like maybe something not makes sense. So I need to get context. A lot of people are too busy trying to glaze a fighter just so they can maintain access and stuff. I just want to understand what's going through your mind and how you think about things. So hearing that answer, I actually get it. So I'm cool with that, and I appreciate you obviously giving that insight. But since we're at that stage now, let's talk about your next fight, Chris Billam Smith, who you said like you had been calling out. I know that you called out Isaac Chamberlain before and a bunch of others. I think Reactor was one also, but we're here now, and that's going to be taking place on the undercard of Chris Eubank Jr. versus Conor Ben. I guess the first thing I want to ask is why do you think Chris, at the level he's at, with potentially the routes that he could take, he decided to take this fight knowing the risk that's involved?
Well, number one, had it not been for His Excellency Ben Shalom, Nova, my management, and Team Ubek, I wouldn't even be here. So obviously, huge thanks to you guys for making it happen. Eternally grateful. I wanted to fight over there for a long time, and I didn't care if it was a TV spot or on the undercard and 10 people saw it because I knew everybody would hear it. Uh, the massacre I put on, but grateful for the shot. As far as Chris Billam don't want to fight me. His back is against the wall, and he knows it. This is a turning point in his career. It's either shit to get out the pot, and for myself as well. But for him, he's former world champion. I'm just the loudmouth American that he should smash, right? So he don't want to do this. This is not his number one. He's more or less being forced into the fight without it being said. You're being forced into the fight. He got his hands full. He don't want this fight. I actually I can't help but be honest because it's who I am. But I'm really want to be careful what I say because I don't want to scare him off. I'm a batter Chris though. He's all
Okay.
wrong for this. Part of me, the human side of me, feels bad for him.
Okay. I mean, look, is there this is going to be number one, is your biggest platform, it's your opportunity to show who Bulletproof is, show who Brandon Glanton is, and you're going to be in a stadium, like one of the most premier stadiums in the UK currently. By the time you're on, there will at least, I would reckon, be at least 20,000 people in there. End of the night there could be close to 70,000. I mean, how with in that opportunity, just that chance to be in that atmosphere, that's obviously something I don't feel like you've had before. That, how do you feel like you'll soak up that energy en route to the fight?
Hey, you know what? My trainer, Jason Jones, he says all the time, "Hey man, you're a madman." But for some reason, in that square circle, everything comes full circle for me. It just all makes sense. That's my home. I don't care if it's right here outside my gym. I don't care if it's in my gym. I don't care if it's in the Barclays, Staples, different places out far, or if it's in the UK, in on the biggest stage, because the words of men won't matter. The only thing that's gonna matter is the decisions made between the bells. Nobody can fight for this man. In fact, my trainer's voice echoes in bigger stadiums for whatever reason. And we have the small little arenas, you can't hear him, but in the biggest, loudest, you can hear him. And I don't know if it's because of where everybody's sitting. It's a little, a little further back from the ring or whatever. But I'll have everything I need. That I'm expecting the boos. I'm expecting the crowd to go crazy whenever he touches my guard. I'm expecting them to be, you know, quiet as a church mouse when I hit him. They're not gonna give me any credit for that. But Chris is gonna feel me. He's gonna be in there with me. He gonna smell my cologne type shit. He's gonna I'm gonna be right here. So that doesn't matter. You gotta it's kind of like a racehorse puts his blinders on. I can't worry about that. It's live or die right now. That man is trying to hurt me. You think he don't want to provide a lifestyle for his wife and kid? You think he don't want to keep his fans happy? Yeah. That's why he comes in shape. That's why Chris he gets hurt and then he finds the will of the gods to will himself back. He's been hurt in every fight, but he won't do that shit this time. Yeah, he I don't think he's been in there, excuse my language. I don't think he's been in there with a person who's just like him, but better as far as that tenacity, that durability, that aggression, the volume. Plus, I don't think Chris is a puncher. I think he got a little bit of heat in that left hook early. But as you see for yourself, I hold my power for all 12 rounds.
Do
It's
you?
gonna get worse and worse and worse and worse. That fight gonna if I don't knock him out, that fight gonna get stopped. I'm gonna batter him.
Jeez. So do you take
I'm
any?
going to batter him. He better be ready to walk through hell. I'm gonna hurt that man.
Is all right? Is there anything? from him that you're like considering that okay, I got to look out for this? Because obviously you're talking about your will, but like you said, he's got will of his own. So
Sure.
what do you got to watch out for?
Can't worry about that.
Oh,
Can't worry about that. You got to focus on yourself. I got to be the best version of myself. Like he said in one of his interviews, this will be his third stadium. Okay. He's never been in there with me. Never been in there with you. But there are certain things about Chris that he can't change. A tiger can't change his stripes. Look, if I'm fighting you and I watched you fight, you know, fighter A, and I watched your fight. Matter of fact, I watched A, B, and A, B, and C, three different styles, four different styles if you include myself, because now I'm gonna fight you. We're not gonna be the same. No two. What my coach says, no, no two breasts are the same, right? you, you know what I mean? Maybe similarities, but what I can see is tendencies within you. Chris has tendencies. Obviously, I won't reveal it here, but I, I can't miss. I'm gonna get hit short. You've seen Chris come back all the time from being battered and beaten, swollen, flat footed, and pain, but he got that will. He's got a heart this big. But you show me a tough man, you show me a dead man. You've seen me get hit, you've seen me counter with uppercuts off my chin. You never seen me swollen. You never seen me bleeding. You never seen me cut. You never seen me buzz. You never seen me drop. You never seen it. Chris and I are different. I'm gonna look like this when I get out of the ring with him.
okay, okay.
A
Do
human
you?
body can only take so much. Chris has no idea. And they all say the same thing. They look at me, I'm short or whatever. I'm short for the division or whatever. It's different when you get in there. It's like Floyd used to say, all right, it's different when you get under the lights, right?
Yeah.
He's had the lights. Chris had more lights than me. It's different. He gotta feel me. His coach is clever, but he don't have to feel it.
So
He don't have to look out in the crowd and see his wife because he's getting battered, his child. He don't have to do that. I'm gonna put something on his mind.
okay, okay. So do you when you look at the, for instance, okay, the Zerdo Ramirez fight, obviously that was his second pro loss, but that's where he's lost the belt. Do you look at that fight and see things that Zerdo did that are similar to what you do, maybe just with more power and aggression, or do you look at that and say, well, that just goes to show that if he can't handle that style, then he can't handle mine? Like, how do you marry the two?
Well, you gotta respect Zerdo. I mean, come on, man. But at the end of the day, he's a cruiserweight. True. Zerdo is a 68 pounder in my eyes.
Okay,
That's why he didn't have the punch. Just because you go out here and you eat a million donuts doesn't mean you're ready for this weight class. Um, Contact is different. The bone structure is different. I'm rock solid. It's different. Zerdo's a bit more swift, and he was able to turn Billam. He was able to move around him and kind of he outboxed him at a close range. But again, Zerdo couldn't miss. And after the fourth round, he got drowned. It, he could not miss. Chris made so many mistakes, and he didn't offer any adjustments. You think you're just gonna the guy is showing you you're not gonna he's not doing that. So obviously Zerto and I are two different fighters to answer your question. Zerto's got a world more experience than I do, and he did what he needed to do to get a unanimous decision. Um It won't take me that long though. With different people, Billam didn't offer any adjustments. Zero adjustments for Zerto Ramirez. He couldn't do it at his hardest fight. I think Chris Billam is overlooking me, but he'll figure out real quick he can't do that. So I just really want to be careful with my words. But Chris ain't got to come looking for me. That's for sure. I'm gonna be right there bringing all the smoke. So
Okay.
he
Um,
he thought he was the puncher. I'm sorry, man. I just can't. He thought he was gonna be the puncher in that fight. I don't know what he was thinking, man. I don't know why his trainer. I don't even think he was listening to his trainer. It all went out the window. But because he's got a massive heart, the guys. I never called him a coward.
mm,
I said he was a duck. I didn't say he was a coward. You know. Plus, I never let a guy looks like Dumb and Dumber beat me. Come on, man. Look at this guy. this guy. This guy looks like the boxing John Cena, man. Like, come on, bro. It's
I mean, look,
crazy.
you're saying all this, and as great as it is, that means that you've now got to make sure that you back all this up in the ring, like, because if you
Sure.
lose, it's a problem.
I'm not gonna lose.
Okay,
I'm not gonna lose.
all
I'm
right.
not gonna lose.
I want to
And
ask you
boxing world
something,
can say
right?
what they want to say about me, and the boxing world has to say I made good on my promises.
Okay, all right. I want to ask you something, and I'm never a person. I never disrespect the person that's in front of you. I'm not gonna ask you about who you want to face after this or whatever. But what I want to know
Thank you.
from you is, in this moment, in this time, like, when this fight is said and done, what do you want the people of the UK, the people watching in the States, the people just watching in all the other territories on the zone, like, what do you want them to take away from this fight and take away about Brandon Glanton?
You know what? Well, for one, I want Billam to actually shake my hand and show me some respect because I stuck my hand out and he looked at it and he walked away and gave me the most disrespectful look like I was less than dirt. And that's why I made him that promise 2 years ago. It wasn't about him, fighting my friend. It's obvious, yeah, I'm Team Okoli, but, you know, the disrespect, I didn't deserve that. So I want my respect. As far as the world, you know, yeah, the money, the belts, the that. I don't want to die, man. And I'm gonna die in my physical. I'm gonna die. We're all gonna die. In 100 years, we'll all be dead. But you never die if people are still talking about you. Muhammad Ali will never die. Mike Tyson will never die. Michael Jordan will never die. Tiger Woods will never die. Anthony Joshua will never die. Vitaly Klitschko, they're never gonna die. I just want to be respected. You know what I mean? I'm a blue collar individual. I want people to know that regardless of whatever happened, I did my very best. I always brought the heat. I brought the intensity, and I showed up to be the best version of myself. A lot of people don't know what bulletproof means, and obviously, if you've seen me fight, you've seen me get hit. You know what it means in the boxing ring. But being bulletproof ain't just taking punches. It's being bulletproof in your integrity, being bulletproof in how you treat people, being bulletproof in your training when your coach ain't looking, being bulletproof in your meal prep. Coach ain't got time to watch you run these 5, 7 miles a day. Go out there and do it. And I want you to give me the accurate time. Being bulletproof around the board. Bulletproof ain't, it's not, obviously, if you shoot me, I'm going to bleed. Not bulletproof. But striving to be my best every day, that's bulletproof, you know?
Mhm.
So that's what I want to become as bulletproof as possible because we all make mistakes, and obviously after this fight, after I batter him, I wish Chris well too. but we both got a contract to sign. So um, I'm amped up, and I haven't even received a bout agreement yet. I don't care.
Wow.
I'm not letting this get away from me because I want to be revered. I want to be talked about in the most positive, uplifting way. That's what it's about for me. Obviously, I want to be paid for my work. Obviously, I have to be able to provide for myself, my family, my team. This goes without saying. But when people pay their good, hard earned money and they've worked, 40 plus hours in a week, and instead of feeding their family or getting their wife this or that, they come out and they come watch you fight, come pour into you. I want to give a show to those people, and I want them to know I did my very, very best. I did my best. I didn't cheat to win. I didn't hit them with no purposeful dirty shots. I didn't headbutt this man. I didn't step on the southpaw's toe. I didn't do that. I did it the right way. I did it the hard way. And that's what I want. I just,
I, res- I
I just want people to
respect
have
it.
a good memory of me.
I respect it. I mean, it's interesting to realize that this fight, I guess, for you is not just about the competition of or showing your worth, but it's also that yo, I'm about to earn my respect from you in that ring for the disrespect that I believe you showed me 3 years ago. That's a powerful emotion. Um, do you feel like you'll be able to maintain the emotion without letting it consume you? Uh, on fight night.
Sure. For number one, I don't want to go to jail in the UK. I don't want to be kicked off the card. I don't want to be penalized for one. But I don't want my first appearance in the best boxing country in the world to be a disrespectful, hot-headed. No, because I'm not that. I'm serious about what I say, but I'm not an evil human being. You know what I mean? I'm not a bad guy. I might be a loudmouth when you get me to talking, but trust me, when this contract gets signed, you won't hear a peep from me. You won't hear a peep. So I'll be able to contain that, and that was one thing I wasn't able to do in the David Light fight. I was sitting in the corner. And I just did that, man. Like I just took to bite his head off every chance, But since then, I've gotten better than that, to keep that composure. And yeah, man, we got a show to do. We got a job to do. Plus, that's why it's professional boxing. You know what I mean? So yeah, it'll be fine. But I really, Chris gonna shake my hand. I didn't deserve that. I didn't deserve
Okay.
that. Mm.
All right. Well, look, Brandon, I appreciate your time. If there's anything that you want to end on, a message to either him or to any new person that's maybe seeing you or hearing from you for the first time, or anything else, please say what you want to say now.
Hey, I appreciate everybody for watching. If you're gonna be at the fight, thank you. If you can't catch it in person, catch it on TV. And don't blink. It's my honor to come. It's my pleasure to come over there and impress and do my job and earn everyone's respect. So, Chris, you better be training.
Brandon, I appreciate your time and look, all the best at training camp. And if I don't see you actually on fight night, fight week, and when they do the press conference and stuff, I'll definitely go and we've got to do a little quick follow up on this. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Appreciate you.
Already.
Look, shout out to Brandon Glanton. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah, I was happy. We spoke for about 10, nearly 10, 15 minutes after the interview was done, which, again, it's time that he didn't have to give me, but he did. I'm looking forward to a follow up. That's all I'm going to say. Obviously, he's in a division with a few people that I'm cool with, so it's all gonna be very, very interesting. But look, in terms of engaging characters and people that really give you that energy, like they bout that, he definitely does. I'm even more pumped to watch this fight now than I was when it was announced. So yeah, look, I'm gonna leave it there. Again, it was a pretty long interview, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave your comments down below, let me know what you thought. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and I'll catch you on the next one. But until then, peace.